Guys, we are aware that when a volcano erupts, more often than not, it destroys properties and kills people, among other things. Despite the tragic impacts that volcano eruptions have, they also have some beneficial effects on humankind. Although the havoc volcano eruptions bring about is almost always greater than the benefits that can come from them, in some cases, whatever benefits are derived are better than having nothing at all. And this is what World Eyes is going to tackle now. By the way, we have a trivia portion at the end of this video that may win you a nice t-shirt with the logo of my two YouTube channels embedded on it. This is the t-shirt, guys. So, come along with me. World Eyes brings you any educational knowledge or information around the globe, current or many years ago, that has historical or significant value. It is your eyes to the world. For centuries, the world's populace has grappled with the tragic effects of volcano eruptions. On average, about 50 volcanoes erupt every year around the world. And every time it happens, it impacts the lives of people in one way or another. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD was so destructive that it destroyed the Roman towns of Pompeii in the southern part of Italy and Herculaneum, now Campania. It killed some 16,000 inhabitants. In fact, many have been entombed in volcanic debris. In 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia wiped out some 92,000 people. It erupted so strongly that the sound it created could be heard in Sumatra Island, some 1,200 miles away. It is considered the deadliest eruption in human history. 68 years after that, in 1883, another volcano also in Indonesia, the Krakatoa, exploded, creating a tsunami that resulted in the deaths of 34,000 people, either from the blast or from drowning. The blast was 4 times more powerful than the largest bomb detonated. It is believed to be the most violent eruption in human history. The explosion of Mount Unsen in 1792 is Japan's deadliest volcanic eruption, as it buried the city of Shimabara with its massive landslide that triggered a towering tsunami, leaving 15,000 people dead along its path.
And can perhaps help us better understand the power of earthquakes and tsunamis and prevent loss of life.
Then came the eruption of Mount Pinatubo in 1991 in the Philippines.
A loud bang was heard from a volcano that had been dormant for 6 centuries, with hundreds of people killed from mud flows.
Considered the second largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century. Tons of sulfur dioxide and other particles were ejected into the air and spread around the world. Although the death toll registered only around 722, it left some 200,000 people homeless when mud and lahars buried villages below the mountainside. These tragic volcano eruptions in human history brought tremendous destruction, tsunami, mudslides, killed people, and displaced the populace. The hot lava emitted from the eruptions damaged the natural habitat of the species within its immediate vicinity, polluted the atmosphere, and resulted in the deaths of living things. It also reduced the heat and cooled down the planet that people in some parts of the world experience without summer. It threatens human health, contaminates waters, causes floods, power outages, and wildfires.
Inhaling them could threaten human health. The ash could contaminate drinking water. The eruptions could unleash disasters such as floods, power outages, and wildfires.
Yet, despite all of these negative impacts, there's still breathing space left for affected people to move on and make the most of it. Looking at it in a positive manner by way of turning the tragedies into something profitable, here are some of them. Volcanic materials develop the most fertile soils on Earth, producing more agricultural products for civilization to thrive again. The heat produced can be used to generate electricity. It is good for increasing the use of renewable energy, a shift from the use of coal and other fossil fuels, which are the main cause of climate change.
There are 5 major geothermal power plants. They produce more than 25% of the nation's electricity. They heat the fresh water supply, about 90% of the buildings in the country.
Pumice and volcanic ash are used as abrasives, mostly in hand soaps and household cleaners. They are also used in making cement for construction projects like concrete blocks, while perlite is used in making precast walls. Erupting volcanoes are good source of tourism revenues, especially when the volcano is just starting up and or has just erupted. Lahar can be used as fine aggregates for controlled low-strength materials that feed construction projects in countries where lahar has been ejected from a volcano eruption.
Volcanoes is also a useful building material. Volcanic ash can be turned into bricks and used to rebuild the very buildings which the volcano destroyed.
And some of these that I just enumerated are what the Philippines has done to rise up against the devastation brought about by the eruption of Mount Pinatubo. But here is the catch. In a country like the Philippines, where corruption is already a way of life and has been embedded into the subconscious minds of some people, whatever they do, like converting lahar into something profitable, there is always that consideration of what goes into the government's coffers. There should also be something that goes into their pockets. In Pampanga, which has been greatly affected by the volcano eruption to the point that some communities have almost been erased from the map, putting lahar to productive uses has become the biggest revenue source of that province, amounting to millions and billions of pesos. But due to the enormous amount of money generated from lahar, some government officials involved in the issuance of permits with respect to the quarrying of lahar, the black sands, and other quarry resources were carried away by the rampaging flow of that gift of nature into the pit of corruption. Some quarry operators are said to be operating with pending or expired permits due to deficiencies and or non-compliance with the requirements for permits. Even the delivery receipts of trucks hauling quarry materials are allegedly questionable. Grease money trickles down to the community in the form of goods and other things to silence their mounting complaints. Thus, in the provinces of Pampanga, Tarlac, and Zambales, the tri-point boundary where Mount Pinatubo is situated and where quarrying is done in the river or mountainside, excessive quarrying for lahar and other quarry materials appears to have been poorly managed, or there appears to be a semblance of undue diligence in the monitoring of the quarry operators as they dredge and excavate without due consideration for the protection of the area that could be inundated with bigger floods with more devastating and catastrophic effects in view of the monetary consideration doled out by quarry operators. In the Bukaw River alone in Botolan, Zambales, some quarry operators have been using dredging equipment similar to that used by China in the West Philippine Sea. That is not only causing so much noise, especially in the dead of the night, destroying the river in effect, but also the nature and the town's landscape. Misfortunes and opportunities are byproducts of volcano eruptions. Words that are both contradictory, conflicting words to say the least. But why would a tragedy befall us and then allow the same misfortune to rise up again, giving us another opportunity to move on? Why? Why? This is for now, guys. Here's our trivia question for this blog. What are the provinces that form the tri-point boundary in the Philippines where Mount Pinatubo is situated? Write your answer in the comment section below together with the size of your t-shirt of your preference, medium and large only, plus your name and address. The first 2 subscribers with the correct answer wins. You get your t-shirt by mail wherever you are in this world. Tune in for my next video. Thank you. And that's for now for Word Eyes. Stay tuned on my next vlog. And don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you.